Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Genoa Township Board of Trustees meeting. Today's date is September 7th, 2023, and the time is 6:30 p.m. Donna, can you call the roll?
Trustee Vaughn.
Here.
Trustee Antonetts.
Here.
Trustee Goodman. Here.
Our fiscal officer, Pat Myers, is unavailable to be here this evening, so in his place, we have Donna Batten, the Assistant Fiscal Officer. Also present, we have Lauren Fitzpatrick, Deputy Director of Roads and Buildings and Grounds, Steve Gamble, Police Chief, Linda Greco, Director of Human Resources, Joe Ponzi, Fire Chief, Paul Benson, who works in our zoning department, and Paul Wise, our Township Administrator. At this time, I'd like to ask Nick Hufelder and Kendall and Coleman Vaughn to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody could stand if you're able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, guys. At this time, I'll ask Tisha Hufelder to come up, and she's going to swear me in for my next term.
Hey, Paul. Doing it with the sign
This
in
in
the...
the background. And you can hold my sign up.
I thought that might look a little nicer.
All right. Do you want, yes, of course.
I guess you hold it.
Yes, or you can come up and hold it, whatever you want. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Renee Vaughn,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of trustee in Genoa Township,
the duties of trustee in Genoa Township,
Delaware County,
Delaware County,
state of Ohio, during my continuance in office,
during my continuance in office,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I would like to thank family and friends who are here, and Tisha for being willing to swear me in, and for the voters for reelecting me for another 4 years, and I look forward to continuing to make Genoa Township better. All right, next on the agenda, I will turn it over to Donna Batten.
Good evening. As you said, Patrick Myers, he's out of town celebrating the Christmas holiday with his family in Colorado. The first item tonight are trustee meeting minutes. We have the regular meeting from November the 2nd, special meeting from the 21st of November, and another special meeting from November the 28th.
Okay, I'll move to approve the following trustee meeting minutes: November 2nd, 2023, regular trustee meeting, November 21st, 2023, special trustee meeting, and November 28th, 2023, special trustee meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
Okay, moving on to financials. We, with the last meeting being obviously November the 2nd, I wasn't able to have those ready for you at that meeting. So this evening, I'm presenting both the October and November bank reconciliations. All balances are reconciled. The primary bank balance is at $3,103,714.98. Our Fifth Third investment portfolio sits at $19,515,844.26. And our Star Ohio investments are $2,404,231.69. As I stated, all accounts are balanced and reconciled. I feel like we repeat this every meeting. Moving on to supplemental appropriations. We ran short for buildings and grounds salaries, medical for police, and if everybody remembers when Paul presented the property insurance premium, there was an increase with that. So I needed to make some adjustments within the general fund and the police fund for the property insurance. This is not an amendment to the budget. There was money available. I just need you guys to move it around. So I ask that you pass the following supplemental appropriation amendments.
Okay, I'll move to approve the supplemental appropriation amendments as presented. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
Okay, and purchase orders, moving on. Because of the supplemental and the changes with regards to the resolution you just passed, I have 2 then and now purchase orders I need for the police department. I need a blanket, hopefully to get us through the rest of the month for the police and their medical. And then I need an additional $100,000 in the internal service fund for the medical payments. And then we do have our 2024 BWC premium that is due, and that is $87,332, along with the Westerville City School TIF payment with regards to the second half property tax disbursement. So I ask for approval of those as well.
Okay, I'll move to approve the regular purchase orders, then and now purchase orders, and blanket certificate purchase orders as presented. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
And our last and final thing, year ends, it's December, year-end spending, we're cutting off at the 15th. So that's more for the departments. And that's all for the fiscal this evening. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Donna. And thanks for filling in for Pat.
Oh, thank you.
At this time, I'll open it up to public comment. If there's anybody who would like to speak, just ask for you to come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none, I'll close public comment and open it up to trustee comments. Anyone have anything?
Nothing this evening.
I have 2 things. One, the Seniors Against Scams is next Wednesday, December 13th at 1 o'clock here in the Township Hall, if anybody's interested in that. It was highly attended in the spring, so it was requested that we repeat it. So that'll be here next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Also, I know that last month I had proposed creating an events committee with the news that Linda Greco will be retiring here in next week. I didn't know if things had changed, your views had changed with the Easter egg hunt and the trick-or-treat village, if anybody had any thoughts on that.
I thought about it with the same thoughts that you had with what do we do with those. But I think there may be other options as opposed to creating another committee. What we've found in the past is sometimes we create committees and then later we remove those committees. So I would like us to do a little bit more research as to where those events might best be placed without creating another committee.
Okay?
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with that? Okay. The other thought I had was last year, the traditional egg hunt was canceled due to high winds. And then at the last minute, there was the bunny hop event that took place instead. And also, given the fact that we don't know who will lead up the egg hunt, what are the thoughts for the board to do the bunny hop versus the traditional egg hunt? Go ahead, Paul.
I know that the egg hunt is a very lengthy process. I know it took Linda months to get prepped for that, line up volunteers. to stuff the eggs. Maintenance had to clean each egg every year because they would have astroturf debris and little hand debris all over them. So I'm in favor of doing the streamlined bunny event.
Trail.
Bunny trail event. It definitely would, you know, the way we had it, there was a lot of resident filling of eggs, et cetera, and it was vigorous and time-consuming, having good Paul carrying tubs of eggs in and out of the building, myself and everybody else. So the alternative plan to me would be favorable.
I could go either way. I'm bringing it up because I just want to know what you think. The newsletter, the paper newsletter deadline is tomorrow, so that's kind of why I'm bringing it up now. I know it's December, but if we want it printed in the paper newsletter, kind of need to know by tomorrow.
I would be fine with the bunny hop or whatever it's called versus the traditional egg hunt. One of the things with the egg hunt is I believe there's a significant rental fee
Yep.
for the field at Westerville South. We've had an issue with with conflicts in the past, and it also seemed to work well with the crowds coming in staggered time
Yep.
frames as opposed to a huge rush of everybody getting there and then trying to get out at the same time. So I have no problem making that change, as long as it's one or the other.
Oh, I agree. It should be one or the other. I agree. We did get a lot of positive feedback with people who had either come to the traditional egg hunt in the past or had come from Westerville's, and it's a mad dash. You wait around for a half hour for 2 minutes. And the bunny hop trail was, I think, more enjoyable. It lasted longer. It was a more pleasant experience was the feedback we got. You have?
I have any problem with that.
Okay. So consensus, if Leslie is listening, is the bunny hop trail for Easter. Okay, thank you. And that's all I have for public comment, or trustee comments. So I'll turn it over to Paul for administration.
Good evening, board. Thank you, and Merry Christmas. I know we're getting close, so I want to be the first to say that. First off, the township, we had ARPA funds earmarked for the police demo project. In the meantime, we've been notified that we were awarded a grant of $97,000, and then with a little bit of discussion with the county and the state, they upped our grant to about $124,000. So that would offset the need to use the ARPA funds for that purpose. But when the retention grants were given in the last 2 months to the union people, it was decided that one of the proper uses for the funds could be a potential ARPA fund bonus for those remaining. So that's what we've done. We've accumulated an exhibit for you this evening if the board would like to move forward with that idea.
Okay, I'll move to approve the ARPA fund employee bonus in the amount of $78,580 and approve Exhibit C, Genoa Township non-union personnel 2023 bonus. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
I'm sorry, can you amend that resolution to
Yes.
say Exhibit D?
Okay, yes. Okay, I will amend my motion for Exhibit D instead of C.
And I will second that amended motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts?
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. The other day, the board, myself, Donna Batten, and department heads spent about 3.5 hours discussing the 2024 temporary appropriations. We had a very productive meeting and got a lot of insight moving forward. We thought we'd use that process instead of spending your entire evening tonight discussing numbers. So that this time, with Donna's help, we've streamlined the numbers, and I asked the board to approve the temporary appropriations for '24.
Okay, I'll move to approve the 2024 Genoa Township temporary appropriations in the amount of $23,041,801.36 effective January 1st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman? Yes. Trustee Antonetts?
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. The board asked me to set up a draft vendor sales policy to begin the ball going so we're ready when the weather changes. You guys, the board has asked that the policy would be for the township only using this policy at first for mobile food vendors and other miscellaneous sales on our township properties. So I've drafted up some language that I've stole from other public entities from their policies, and wanted to get some feedback from the board, any ideas or thoughts concerning this draft.
Anybody have thoughts?
I like the fact that it is only allowed for township events and on our properties. I was worried about this, being kind of a free-for-all, and that streamlines it to the
Yeah.
point of,
Just a basic guideline.
yeah,
Yeah, this is just a guideline.
set some standards.
And it's not set in stone. I mean, you can always amend this at some future date if something that we missed wasn't observed. So if
I have a question for the chief. Does the fire department typically look at food trucks? Do you monitor them?
We are working within the county to set up a program where vendors would have the ability to attend what we've loosely termed a food truck rodeo, where they show up and they get inspected by the health department and a certified fire inspector from whatever department. It'd be a countywide collaborative effort. That process, we're working on getting that process put together. We hope to have it up and running by next summer. I know that may be a little late in the game. Typically, other jurisdictions have relied upon a mobile food truck vendor or mobile food vendor to, at least, since we don't have a program here in the county, to at least have an inspection sticker from Franklin County. And that's a joint effort that Franklin County puts together through, I believe it's Columbus Fire and the Franklin County Department of Health, or maybe the City of Columbus Department of Health.
Okay.
We wouldn't be there. I think we spoke about this last month. If you're going to have, typically speaking with other fire chiefs, is that they're required to submit on their registration or their paperwork when they're going to come in and do business in your jurisdiction to list their certification that verifies that that apparatus has been inspected and has passed the inspection. So no matter whose inspection, if we don't have it up and running in time, our program in the county, you could still rely on the Franklin County inspection program and have them list their inspection certification number on the paperwork that you would require from the vendor.
Yep, I like it.
you want to approve this as a temporary or a policy moving forward,
Do you need a formal motion or consensus?
Donna?
If you guys want to wait and just tack it on the reorg when you
Yeah,
approve
we're
all
not
of
gonna
your
use it before
policies,
then.
I don't think anybody's,
That's
No,
fine.
we're not planning to have
Okay.
a food
Yeah.
truck.
That's
yeah, we
fine.
can just tag it on with all your other.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks, Paul, for putting that together.
No problem. A lot of theft involved.
Well,
Next up is a request to approve a change order on the old police station demo project. The township's still waiting on funds to be released by the State of Ohio Department of Development. And so we have incurred interest charge on the project, so I asked for the board's approval on these this evening.
okay, I'll move to approve a change order number 7 and authorize a purchase order in the amount of $741.08 for additional interest fees in accordance with the contract approved June 14th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Goodman. Trustee Antoinette. Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries. All right. Anything else, Paul?
Yes, a couple more items. Next up, we received on November 20th some sad news that Linda Greco decided to retire. And with sad feelings, we're all left wondering, boy, are we going to be able to keep the job going up to the quality and caliber that Linda has done for the past 20 years? Over the last 20 years, we've developed a friendship. She's perfected the position into what it is today. She made it what it is. We went from very small employer to now close to 100 people, and it took that job's due diligence to keep the ball rolling. She essentially was a glue of the township, trying to keep the level of quality with benefits and other wonderful things, and saving literally millions of dollars over the past years on medical expenses. So with regret, we have to approve her retirement.
I'll move to accept the retirement of Human Resources Director Linda Greco effective December 15th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antoinette.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries. Linda, I want to wish you well. Thank you for your service and dedication to the township. Thank you. Yes.
It's been my pleasure. I have loved serving
Microphone.
I have absolutely loved my job, and was very rewarding working with this group of employees that we have. It's just been my honor and privilege to serve them. So I appreciate and thank you for all of your confidence in me, and I wish you all well also. Thank you.
And I echo Paul, I know you've saved the township millions on insurance, but you do a great job with HR as well, so thank you.
Wish you lots of fun times in your future retirement and many years of happiness.
Oh, there's going to be lots of fun. For sure.
Next.
Next up.
Yep.
So over in the maintenance department, we just had a resignation last week, and we also had some key personnel illnesses. So Lauren Fitzpatrick just has really had to pitch in and really had to pick up on all the assignments needed, planning jobs daily, and filling in a big gap that is needed to keep the ball rolling at the maintenance department. Not only in maintenance, but buildings and grounds and parks. So I'd like to recommend to the board that we have a temporary promotion this evening to appoint Lauren as the interim Director of Roads, Buildings, and Grounds.
I'll move to approve the temporary appointment, Lauren Fitzpatrick to the position of Director of Roads and Buildings and Grounds, effective December 7th, 2023, and approve an annual salary of $110,367. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion?
I know that Lauren has been doing this job in the absence of the director for more than just today and the future. I would suggest to the board that it may be appropriate to set a retroactive date for this and recognize what she has been doing, not only what she will be doing.
I agree. From my understanding, she took over the second week in October, and that would either, I mean, the Sunday is October 8th, the Monday is October 9th. So I don't know how we need to do that, whether you do the Sunday or the
9th?
Monday. The 9th?
Start of the week?
Yes. So I agree. I'll amend my motion to October 9th.
And I will second the amended motion.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
I assume you're okay with that, huh? Okay.
Roll call?
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antoinette. Trustee Vaughn.
Motion carries.
Lastly this evening, and I know you're getting tired of hearing me, this is a time of year, every 2 years, that the state of Ohio offers a capital project acceptance into the State House. We're going to bug the heck out of our state rep, down the street and also the senator that represents us. We have, and the Board of Parks has created a listing of various amenities that would be applications for funding, and I'll go over each one of those at this time. First off, one of the applications would be a replacement of playground equipment at McNamara Park. The current equipment is probably getting close to 21 years old, and it's time now for replacement. Secondly, a trail connection on Big Walnut Road, and we're talking on the north side of Big Walnut from the point at Old 3C, running from Old 3C on Big Walnut down to State Route 3 on the north side. That would be another application. Another application would be stream restoration at Center Green Park. Right now, there's a concrete channel in place, and it'd be a more environmental acceptable project to have a restoration of that stream into more of a stone, et cetera, type of a erosion control down through that. Next would be the installation of a nature-inspired interactive water feature at McNamara Park. It would not be an official swimming pool or splash pad, but it's just something where a little bit of water can be planned, et cetera, on a play surface. And then lastly, the restoration of the historic barn in McNamara Park. I've given you a packet with details of the projects for your consideration. If the board wants to approve moving on with some or all of these projects, please let us know, because the application deadline's coming up in the next 2 weeks.
I'd like to propose to take off the restoration of the McNamara barn and just go forward with the other 4.
Are these matching grants?
Yes.
Okay. I would be fine with that. I think, we've gone from restoration
I
to
know.
replication, and I think we need to make a decision on that before we ask for money.
Okay.
Do we prioritize these in
No.
some way? We just,
We'll turn in all of the whole packet. Mr. Barna is going to prepare the paperwork for the grant, and cross your finger, and I know that each one of you can lobby our state rep down the street. And
Is it really up to them at the state level to decide which?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't really matter if we prioritize? They're going
No,
to choose
they'll-
what they want anyway?
they'll pick the ones that are most attractive to them.
I did see that the House application is due on December 18th or 20th. I can't remember.
I think it's both sides.
Senate
No?
was April for some
Oh.
reason.
Okay, well,
It's
let's try
weird,
to hit the
but-
House deadline.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Yeah, I say we hit the House, but
I can inform Mr. Barna to apply for all of these minus the barn. And
Okay.
I do want to commend the Parks Committee for such a very thorough research and project of all these projects. It's very well done, and it's good supporting data to apply with our paperwork. Thank you very
and
much.
mostly time. Thank you for all of the time that it took.
A ton of legwork.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Formal action on this?
No, we'll just move ahead with the applications. Cross your fingers.
All right, next I'm going to turn it over to Chief Gamble and Police.
Good evening. First, I would ask that you appoint James McMillan as Chief of Police of the Genoa Township Police Department to replace me upon my retirement next week. Deputy Chief McMillan is longtime, over 20-year employee of the police department. Started out as a volunteer, worked his way all the way up through the ranks. It's really a great story of his dedication to the department and his commitment to the department and the township. He has both a bachelor's and a master's degree. He's a graduate of the FBI National Academy. He's a former member of the Delaware County Defensive Tactics Unit. He's worked on a number of key projects within the department, most recently our wellness project and building a peer support team to take care of our employees. So with that, I respectfully ask that you appoint him as chief of police. He cannot be here tonight. He's on a long scheduled cruise with his wife in the Caribbean right now. I don't know whether he's watching on YouTube or not from the Caribbean, could be. But I would ask you make that resolution tonight.
I'll move to appoint James McMillan as Chief of Police for the Genoa Township Police Department with his salary defined by the employment agreement between the Genoa Township Board of Trustees and James McMillan, and effective December 16th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
Great job. Next is I ask you to approve a collective bargaining agreement between the township and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Union for the police officers contract.
Okay, I'll move to approve the collective bargaining agreement between Genoa Township and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Union Police Officers, 2023 MED 10-0925. Do I have a second? Oh,
Second?
I should say, sorry, as presented. Sorry.
Second?
Thank you. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Next, I ask you to approve the collective bargaining agreement, same union with the sergeants and lieutenants union.
Okay, I'll move to approve the collective bargaining agreement between Genoa Township and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Union Police Sergeants and Lieutenants, 2023-MED-10-0926, as presented. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. The last, excuse me, the last item I have is the contract and township policy allows retiring officers to purchase their service weapon for $1. So I would ask for approval for myself, Detective Michael Riley, and Police Officer Darren Hutchison to purchase their service weapons for $1 each. I've already given Donna $3.
All right. I'll move to approve the retirement gun purchase in the amount of $1 for the following retiring police department employees. Chief of Police Stephen Gamble, Detective Michael Riley, Police Officer Darren Hutchison. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion. Roll.
Give you a receipt.
I trust her.
Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. And this is the Chief's last meeting, so thank you once again for your dedication and commitment.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be a part of this township. I thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll move it over to Lauren for maintenance. Hold on, microphone. Yeah,
That's a number
thank
one.
you.
Easier to hear me this
Lesson
way?
one.
All right. So this evening, I'd like to ask you to approve with our driveway and culvert inspections, adopting the Delaware County Engineers Driveway Permit Process. This would include a $60 fee due upon receipt of our right-of-way forms. This is the same process that the residents and the contractors have been accustomed to in the township. This is following what Delaware County has always done, so we ask you to approve that $60 fee.
Okay, I'll move to authorize the Genoa Township Maintenance Department to issue right-of-way permits and conduct driveway and culvert inspections on Genoa Township roads within Genoa Township based on the standards of the Delaware County Engineers Office, and approve a driveway permit application inspection fee of $60. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman.
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes, motion carries.
And we'd also like to ask for a resolution to the shelter rental fee for McNamara Park to be increased to a $75 rental and reservation fee.
I'll move to amend the Township Park shelter rental fees and deposit, increasing the rental fee for McNamara Park to $75, effective January 1st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion. I do want to discuss this a little bit. We did talk about it last week. And we discussed resident and non-resident fees. Is this the time we should have this conversation?
And we also discussed putting this off until reorg. And so the necessity to change this before reorg is important because the floodgates on rentals are opened on January 1. The website becomes live, and so we didn't want to miss the window to have a change in prices.
But this is the only one we're changing, correct?
Yes.
Or we're changing,
I thought we were changing all of
I
them.
thought so too. We were changing the gazebo.
That was discussion we had.
I thought we changed Freeman and McNamara, and we also had a secondary fee. There was a resident and then for organizations.
Yes, and since then, I've been talking to a few staff members, and the recommendation since last week is it was recommended that we don't rent to non-residents at all.
Agreed.
Because we fill up anyway with residents, and if you allow non-residents to rent our facilities, it will take away our own residents' right to rent their own shelter. So are we okay with just having residents then and getting rid of the non-resident?
Is there and I'm fine with that, but the question becomes, is there a difference between non-residents and an organization that might want to rent it for a 5K run or
And
something?
that was the other issue that came up as well. Do we want to rent to those types of organizations because they monopolize the whole area to kind of take over the park versus just the shelter? So, or it was recommended that we either don't allow those types of groups to rent our facility, or if we do, there's an additional fee and a policy for that?
I'm actually fine with residents only. I think that's who the parks are meant for. I mean, anybody can use them, clearly.
Right, right.
But the rental of the shelters, the gazebos, et cetera, I think is primarily meant for our residents. And our residents are supporting this both through the fees that they pay through the rental process and through the levy that they just generously approved. So I have no problem with that. The question then becomes, what are we going to do when somebody has a race there? I mean, if it's a resident, probably nothing. It's nothing we can do.
Unless we
But if-
create a policy that you're not allowed to do that. Don't they have to tell you
Well,
what they're going to
it's
use it
not-
for?
Not really.
Okay.
We've never asked the purpose. For this building, we asked for about, because of the amount of people is limiting. But, for example, this past week, I had a resident reach out who wanted to use Mansard Estates and all the area around the elementary school at the Olentangy School.
Walnut Creek.
For Walnut Creek for a 5K, and I said, absolutely not. That's too limiting for safety forces to try to get people in there. And so they came back with an ask, well, can we rent McNamara? We're a nonprofit. Can we use it for 2 hours on a Saturday morning? I said, that's a possibility. So, we don't want to, I just need to know for instructions for people who do ask, are we going to allow for these kind of things? Or it's definitely for a nonprofit group, but really people sidestep that also. We don't know who, it could be a resident, but suddenly 1,000 of their best friends are invited and swamp the entire park, so just need some guidance if we.
It was mentioned to me that if you have a 5K in that area, the trail is already congested, and I can attest to that, that the trails are used a lot. So then you add how many other people in a 2-hour window to that it's going to be a busy trail for 2 hours.
And it's not just the trail. It's the facility usage, the trash that's generated, and the parking that can become an issue because they've got to get to the park somehow. And most of them aren't going to run to the park and then run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard thing is if they don't need the pavilion, and just use the trail and the loop around the park.
Yeah, we
don't
can't stop
have
that.
a method,
Can't stop
we
that.
don't have a policing method legally to tell people to not do that.
Do we track how many times non-residents apply and what kind of fee are we talking about per year? I mean, is it significant revenue for the township or not?
Okay, so I'm on our website currently.
I don't think it's,
Significant?
the majority of the people who rent our facilities are residents, by far.
Yeah, we indicate that they are nonprofit organizations, to keep it to groups. They're limited to one a month. We ask that it be for personal use only, such as birthday parties, family reunions. We do currently have a $75 fee for organizations. Nonprofit events are not, for-profit events are not permitted. And proof of residency is required for the rental, so that's where they are.
I'm looking at my
currently.
notes from last week's meeting. We had decided on Center Green, $25, Freeman, $35, and McNamara, $75. Does that sound right?
Center Green is currently 25, Freeman is 25, and Hillmar.
And Hillmar would be 25 as well because it's a gazebo.
Okay, and McNamara's 30, right? Yeah.
So back up again, then Hillmar and Center Green would.
25.
25, Freeman 35, and
McNamara,
McNamara
75.
75. And residents only.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, that language that Donna just provided sounds like it sets the rules. The problem is are we having difficulty enforcing it? Because what Don just read, I'm okay with the organizations using it. Just my vote.
Should we,
The only thing I'm wondering is, it says not-for-profit, but what if you're a nonprofit having a fundraiser? They're not-for-profit.
I think that's fine.
Then they could have a fundraiser there.
Yeah, well, but
I get, that's the only, and should I amend this motion to include all those other fees? If we're
Yes.
increasing McNamara, I mean, we're not increasing Center Green or Hillmar, but we are Freeman.
You need to memorialize it so we can change the website.
And do you want to keep the 4 organizations too?
That's what I'm wondering. I think, well, what's the definition of an organization? Is an HOA an organization?
I would consider it one.
I mean, they use
Church
the
groups.
facilities, and I think they
Groups.
should be able
Yeah,
to
Boy
use
Scouts,
that.
Girl Scouts, HOA.
We need to leave it open for them, in my opinion.
Paul, do you administer all this?
It's through the rental process. I don't see who does these things.
Now, we do, hold on a second, guys.
Most of it's
Back up.
automated now.
Yeah, hold on, because we do give.
But I think Leslie, Dina,
Actually, Dina does the halls, and we moved the parks over to maintenance. They can be done by either. So, but I do want to mention that we turn away a lot of people, when those floodgates open, the calls, the online stuff, there's a lot, and we turn away people. So, I feel like what Paul was saying, some of those bigger events, especially for what we charge, I feel like we're not allowing some of the residents the time because they just didn't get there and, before the other people, so.
but I think you could clarify that there's no fundraising of any kind. That would take care of it.
We do, and we do tell them when they
Okay.
call. We let them know, but
I don't think that's spelled out on the website
Leslie will have to spell that out for us.
clearly.
Do we currently charge HOAs for rental of the facilities?
No. No, but they are asked to schedule during the week.
they aren't
Yes.
allowed to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The note I got was they're allowed to rent it once a year. And if they want to rent it again during the week or on the weekend, they have to pay the same fee anybody else would. They get one free rental per year.
That's true.
So I think we need to make a statement of all of this stuff, not just conversation, so
Yeah,
that we know
I agree.
what we're approving.
Yep. Do you want it in the motion?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have to open up the rentals right on January 1, or can Leslie hold off until the reorg, until we can get all this ironed out, presented at the reorg, and then open it up?
I don't know why we can't do this right now. We know what
Oh,
we
okay.
want, don't we?
Oh, okay.
I think we're good.
Can I make one suggestion?
Yes.
Whatever the changes are, they need to be done also on the application, because currently the application doesn't match the website. So I've been working on updating the application, which is way too long. People are missing some of the important things that they need to know. So I'm just suggesting, and I've already talked to Leslie about it, she understands that they should match.
And in addition to that, we do want to add the wording on our park rentals, township hall rentals, that there will be no fireworks displays on our properties, which
Should be clearly stated.
it's an event that some people hold on some holidays, so our fire marshal and fire chief are telling us, no, we need to spell that out on our rental agreements.
And we already have alcohol in there, correct?
Correct.
What about with the approval of issue 2? Do we have any thoughts on that yet?
Well, there's no smoking on site.
That's smoking in the park.
Okay.
I think sometimes you need to spell out smoking, vaping, like people don't think it's, people don't understand that it's all synonymous, so whatever that verbiage needs to be.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a stab at redoing this motion. Yeah, thank you. I'll move to amend the township park shelter fees and deposit, increasing the rental fee for McNamara to $75 and Freeman to $35, and also state that there is no fundraising of any kind on any of our township properties, effective January 1st, 2024. Before anybody seconds it, do I need to add anything? Okay, what
Okay,
else?
how about clarifying that Center Green and Hillmar remain at $25?
Okay. I'd like to clarify that Center Green and Hillmar will remain at $25.
Wait. Color smoking, and this is for residents only?
Yes.
Okay.
And our township properties are for rent for township residents only.
I'll second that.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts?
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
All right. So now I'll move on to my personnel. I'd like to ask the board to accept the resignation of Sean Pounds, Parks Labor, effective as of December 15th of 2023.
Okay, I'll move to accept the resignation of Parks laborer Sean Pounds effective December 15th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts? Yes. Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
And next, I'll turn it over to Linda.
Okay, since this is my last ever meeting, I wasn't going to speak at all. And I actually, though, thought this would be a good idea. Tonight, we do need to present to you due to we've had some exceptional activity with our medical in 2023. So we are looking at absolutely having to move to a different stop-loss carrier. I have invited our CBIZ broker, and he was introduced years ago to the board, but really hasn't come back. He graciously accepted to come tonight, explain to you the differences. We've got some sheet that I gave you that shows you the different options that he's pulled, and There is one that we would favor and that we are going to ask you to approve to move to, but I would like to have Todd come up to the podium and do a quick presentation so that you could maybe understand better what we're doing here. Todd?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Again, Todd Bollinger with CBiz. And real quick before I start, just say thank you to Linda as well, as I'll definitely miss working with you and great partnership over the last 7 years working on the fun topic of medical and all the insurance. Fun's a good word. So as Linda mentioned, this year's been a little more challenging with the medical plan, as we've seen a rather large uptick in some of the claims. You've had a nice run of 5 or 6 years of very steady claims activity. So we haven't really done much with the plan as far as increases over the last 4 years. So it's I tell all my groups, nobody is immune to 1 in every 3 to 5 years of getting hit with a year like you guys are getting hit. So it is what it is. With that, being that you're self-funded, one of the components of self-funding, and I believe you've already ratified the increase as far as the funding rates and all that goes for the medical plan. But one of the components is the stop loss. And that's a very important component, is that really limits your liability on claims every year for each individual that's covered by the plan. That took a little longer to get done. We just wrapped that up a couple weeks ago as far as getting all the information in. We really had to go out to the market and really shop hard to look at all the different options, because the renewal that we were given from your incumbent HCC was just higher than we wanted to accept. So we went out to the market. The sheet that's in front of you is given, and there are, you're with Prairie States. In the middle section is the stop loss piece. So there is blue highlights, there's an orange, a purple, and a green highlight. That is the stop loss section of this document. So HCC is your current vendor. Their increase was a 45% increase on just the stop loss component. And again, this is just one piece of the puzzle that makes up your full rate in this. So it wasn't a 45% increase on your total funding. This was just simply on the stop loss piece. We went out to the market and looked at Vista, QBE, and IZZY, which is IISI there at the end. They go by IZZY. Of all of those, they're all A-plus rated carriers. If you'll notice down below, so Vista was the best, and they're at a 2.5% increase. So you're thinking, that looks amazing. That is the one we should definitely pick. But I will put some caveat on that and why I'm not recommending that one. QBE is the one in purple. That is a 34% increase, 10% lower than, about 11% lower than your incumbent's renewal. And then IZZY was at 15%. The key to why QBE is kind of the one that we are leaning towards and recommending, even though they are higher on paper here in this one category, and that is the note that is at the bottom. The note at the bottom is there are things called lasers on your stop loss, and all that simply means is that they are lasering out certain individuals because of their potential claims activity, and they do not have a $40,000 stop loss limit. They have the limit that is listed there below, and of course, for privacy reasons, there's absolutely no names or anything here, it's just numbers. So that number one person would have 175,000 stop loss, number two would have 130 with the Vista, and on the IZZY one, it would be 120,000 for number one and 100,000 for number two. Using our actuarial and using our expertise in looking at this and looking at what is going on with each of those four members, because there's two of the people are the same, one person's different on each one. The probability of them hitting those numbers is very high going into 2024. So knowing what is going on with those individuals and hopefully they're getting the right care that they need, we had to take in, it's more than just that upfront number. Because as you can see, QBE has no lasers down below. They are not, everyone has a $40,000. So the small little summary that's on the second page of the document that Linda gave you, what that does is that gives the total fixed cost at the top, and then it puts the laser liability in on the next line, and then gives us a total with the laser down below. And as you can see, QBE quickly becomes the cheapest option when you look at that. Vista is as much as $70,000, $75,000 more, where Izzy is about $60,000 more when you take into that laser liability. And with the notion that those members are definitely going to be part of the plan, the very, very high probability that they will have those type of claims, QBE seemed like the best option to recommend, and that is what I recommended to Linda. They're a very strong in the stop-loss market, and that is the reason why while on paper the initial rate looks higher, the ultimate liability is going to be lower with QBE. So that is the recommendation to go with for 2024.
Go
Have
ahead.
any questions or for Todd?
I do not. I think you explained it very well to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not something to deal with every day.
It's all
This
numbers.
laser thing. I know, it is all numbers, and that's why that last page hopefully breaks that
Yeah,
down for you.
and I understand the lasers from Linda over the years,
perfect.
so yeah,
Awesome.
I
Very
get it.
So what I am asking for this evening is a resolution to enter into an agreement from HCC to QBE as our stop-loss carrier.
Anybody else have questions for Linda or Todd?
Very well presented.
Yes,
Very clear.
thank you, and thank you for doing your homework and taking care of this before you leave. All right, I'll move to enter into an agreement with QBE effective January 1st, 2024 as the township stop-loss carrier. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts? Yes. Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
And thank you, Linda. Next, fire.
Good evening, Board. Would like to ask for a resolution for the approval of the collective bargaining agreement between Genoa Township and the International Association of Firefighters Local 4307. I believe I'm supposed to say as presented, maybe.
I'll say that.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the collective bargaining agreement between Genoa Township and the International Association of Firefighters Local 4307, SERB 2023-MED-09-0797 as presented. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion?
Yeah, I think it might be worth noting for the residents that might be listening that we negotiated with these unions on the behalf of the residents.
Okay, thank you. Roll call?
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts?
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Next, just a resolution to accept a donation of dive equipment for Mr. and Mrs. Tom Fitzgerald. They graciously had taken up some recreational scuba diving and decided to get out of that sport and contacted us. They actually are residents of Orange Township. Contacted us to see if we wanted the gear, and we said absolutely. So just a resolution to acknowledge, and that also allows us to formally accept that equipment and place it in our inventory.
Okay. I'll move to graciously accept the donation of dive equipment from Mr. and Mrs. Tom Fitzpatrick for, sorry, thank you. I'm thinking of Lauren. I apologize, Fitzgerald, for the Genoa Township Fire Department. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts? Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. And I'd like to thank them. That was very nice of them to think of us.
Absolutely was, and we're very thankful. It was a lot of good equipment in very, very good condition that we'll be able to get some use out of.
Great.
Next, I would request a resolution for education incentive for firefighter paramedic Ron Delosier. Ron has recently completed his bachelor's of science in fire administration from Columbia Southern University, and I would request a resolution for approval under the CBA Article 15.8 of the current collective bargaining agreement.
I'll move to approve the education incentive in the amount of $1 per hour for firefighter paramedic Ronald Delosier for a Bachelor's of Science in Fire Administration from Columbia Southern University per the collective bargaining agreement, Article 15.8 of the IAFF Local 4307. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts? Yes. Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
And just to be on the record, his sealed transcript has already been turned into Human Resources Director, Ms. Greco, for that
Great.
degree. Secondly, or next, request approval to move for tuition reimbursement. Now that Ron, he hasn't gone to enough classes recently, he is now going to enroll in a master's degree in public health and community health education through Columbia Southern University. So I would request a resolution for approval under the CBA Article 16 of the current collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, I'll move to approve the tuition reimbursement for firefighter paramedic Ronald Delosier for the master's degree in public health, community health education from Columbia Southern University per the collective bargaining agreement, Article 16 of the IAFF Local 4307. Reimbursement will be based upon final grades. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion?
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts? Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
Okay, next, a similar request for, to enter tuition reimbursement for firefighter paramedic Michael Rickabaugh for a master's degree in public administration and emergency services management, again from Columbia Southern University, under the collective bargaining agreement, Article 16 with the Local 4307.
Okay, I'll move to approve the tuition reimbursement for firefighter paramedic Michael Rickbaugh for a master's degree in public administration, emergency service management from Columbia Southern University per the collective bargaining agreement, Article 16 of the IAFF Local 4307. Reimbursement will be based upon final grades. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts? Yes. Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Yes?
Like to say how pleased I am to see the number of our firefighters and our police, as well as staff, that are taking advantage of these educational opportunities. As somebody that has a background in education, I think this is phenomenal, so congratulations to all of them.
I think a lot of that can truly be attributed to the obviously with the shift work, both of our departments endure, the availability of online education has completely changed their ability to obtain their coursework. So I think that's a lot of it. And so I think it's great that they're doing it also.
Good. Okay, great. All right, anything else before I close out? All right, announcements, November 7th. Oh, boy.
Hold on.
Wait a
Agenda,
minute.
go to agenda.
Let me go to December 9th.
Yeah.
December 9th, tree lighting event. December 11th, zoning commission. December 18th, trustee zoning hearing. December 19th, BZA. December 25th and 26th, offices closed, Christmas. January 1st, offices closed, New Year's. January 3rd, the Parks Advisory Committee meeting, and the next regular trustee meeting is January 4th, 2024. At this time, I'll move to adjourn to executive session at 7:33 p.m. to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
Trustee Antonetts?
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. We're now in executive session. Paul. All right. I'll move to return from executive session to the regular trustee meeting at 7:52 PM. Do I have a second?
Second?
Call?
Mr. Antonez?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. We have one form of business coming out of executive session. I'd like to make a motion to amend the sick leave policy to include rehire retirees effective December 7th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Antonez?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
I'll move to adjourn this meeting at 7:52 PM. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes?
Mr. Antonez?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Sorry, motion carries. We're now adjourned at 7:52.